Hyper-local journalism is critical to having informed communities. And let me be clear, in my 5 years, going on 5 years, God willing, I'll be re-elected tomorrow. I'm running against myself. But, right, not here. I've had the honor, and I want to speak personally and thank Katie Honan, who has covered like no other reporter. And as a representative of the Rockaways, I can clearly say today that if it was not for her journalism, that the Rockaways would not even have recovered, and we're still rebuilding, but we would be recovering at a slower pace than we are. And I want to thank you for the work that you did. Now I want to be clear that Katie and I have not always seen eye to eye.
Forget those articles.
She might have been a pain in the ass some days, but she was doing her job just as all of you have done your job in serving our community. Local journalism is the cornerstone of our democracy, my friend. And it is because of local journalism that the stories of my constituents can be told. Many people who would not have a voice in city government or may not even understand the workings of city government if it was not for the reporting that news reporters from DNA and the Gothamist have done. So I'm going to begin to wrap up and say that this fight is not over, that this fight must continue, and they may come for you. They came for them tonight, my friends, but they may come for you tomorrow. So it is incumbent upon all of us to stand with our brothers and sisters from DNA in the Gothamist as they fight this struggle, because this is about ensuring that we keep the integrity, transparency, and accountability in our city, and most importantly, we need good reporters to do that. So I want to thank you all. I want to thank the Writers Guild of America for organizing this. We have a lot of work to do, and shame on Joe. Say shame. 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 We will win this war. Thank you. God bless you all. All right, thank you. I want to have everybody here from DNA Gothamist wave your arms in the air. All right. Solidarity with our new members. I want to hand the mic and the megaphone over to Ben Trachtenberg and Emma Whitford, who are going to talk to you about what it's like to be in the firing line with Joe.
First of all, I would just like to thank everyone for showing up today and the outpouring of support that we've been shown. It's been incredible. You know, we were really caught flat-footed when this happened. I was in court reporting on something, and I started to get all these frantic text messages. And went on the website to look at DNAinfo and realized that my life's work as a journalist, the only place I've worked since finishing grad school, had just been eviscerated. And we should be clear that that is not just an attack on us. We have strong support from the community here. We'll be okay. We'll land on our feet. But this is an attack on millions of people throughout the country who depended on our reporting. And to then take down the work that journalists had done to hold people of power, powerful institutions to account, to take that down and eviscerate the public record, lets people off the hook. And it is insulting to all the people in the communities across the country who depend on our reporting. It was a disgusting act, and it was an act of retaliation, and it's something that no one should stand for. But I think something that has happened out of this that's really important is that it started a national conversation. I don't think anyone, when they made a decision to shutter DNAinfo and Gothamist so suddenly realized what an outpouring of support we'd have and how much press there would be around it, and how people would start to talk about and call for the importance of local journalism throughout the country. And that's within our power. We don't need to feel like our career, the information that we get, could suddenly be taken away because a powerful person gets angry at his workers standing up for their rights. It's within our power to create local journalism to support it. Thank you. And I want to introduce Emma Whitford, great reporter from Gothamist, who's going to talk about what we can do, because we need to talk about looking forward to the future, because that's what this is about.
Alright, I've never used one of these. Can you guys hear me? Alright, so I think we, more than anybody, know that long press conferences are really boring, so we'll keep it really short. We're really proud to be out here today, and the message that I want to get across to other shops who haven't organized yet, like, don't be afraid because of us. You know, we're really freaking sad, but we've also had an amazing, like more than 48 hours, and I keep telling people, like, I feel the opposite of lonely. Like, this is a network. Local journalists look out for each other. There are still so many out there. And I would just encourage you to do what we did, and don't be afraid. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, don't worry. We've got lots of organizing campaigns yet to come. Stay tuned, brother. I would like to introduce Tish James, a public advocate.
Councilmember Richards comes from the Republic of Queens. I represent the entire city, but in my heart is the Republic of Brooklyn! And all of the reporters here have given face and heart and soul to all of the nameless individuals. They told their stories about gentrification and affordable housing, and about fights over development all throughout the city of New York. And so my message is clear, that this is a union town, and the unions will be respected. And that this is a slap in the face to the progressive values that we hold. And the reality is that the middle class was built on the backs and the shoulders of the labor movement. And Mr. Ricketts, you cannot destroy the labor movement. This movement is only growing. These individuals who have engaged in objective reporting about a wide range of social and economic issues, representing people who don't have a voice, who are often ignored. And so I stand with them today in all labor movements in this city to say to Mr. Ricketts that we will fight you every step of the way. And that the voice of these workers, the voice of these journalists will not be silent. Not now, not ever. We support workers. And when workers are united with progressive voices in this city and in this country, we will fight back to your attempt to bring Trumpism to New York City. We reject it. It's all about the right to organize. And these journalists that I too have from time to time have disagreed with, believe it or not. But nonetheless, I will defend always the freedom of the press to report the news as they see it. And even when you disagree with elected officials. But I respect journalists because they take down too many elected officials who are so concerned with power. Elected officials who are corrupt. And elected officials who are only concerned about advancing their own agenda. I stand with these journalists, because they speak truth to power. And that's what we are here to defend. And so I say to Mr. Ricketts, workers. And I support the union movement. And I support their right to organize. And I support the middle class and working people in this city. And that by firing them, this is nothing but a blatant and disgusting act of union busting. And union busting is disgusting. And so journalists set the agenda. And the agenda today is clear. We respect the union movement. We respect the guild. We respect journalists. And we respect all of those who stand with them today. This is a fight for the heart and soul of the middle class. I stand with these workers today, and I say to Mr. Ricketts, shame on you. Bring them back or not. We will organize around you, and we will create our own worker collective, and then we will report on how you were able to make billions on the back of working people in this country.
All right. Speaking of people who fight for truth against power, on behalf of the labor movement, our next speaker is Hector Figueroa, the head of
Thank you, everybody. But this is not about 32BJ today. It's about the Writers Guild and about the injustice that has been done by a billionaire who thinks that he can really deny workers at DNAinfo and the Gothamist the right to have a voice at work, the right to have a union. And brothers and sisters, we want to make 2 points. They have been said, but they should not be said enough. Everyone needs to repeat this. We need independent journalism, now more than ever. We need the work of those who are telling the stories of low-wage workers who are trying to organize, those who are telling the stories of what happens in city government, those who are telling the stories of how working families struggle, whether during Sunday or whether to bring food to the table in an increasingly expensive city. We know that the voice that you provided through these 2 means, through these 2 venues, will not be silenced. We are there with you. We are to work with you and work hard with you to make sure first that this decision can be reversed, and if not, we join the public advocate, and we want to be there with you to support you personally and to support you as who you are, those who seek the truth and who speak truth to injustice. But we also have another message to all workers in the city of New York, and on this we stand united. Whether it is a Central Labor Council, or District 37, or the Teachers Union, or 32BJ, or the Writers Guild, we are to say, in this moment in which this act has been committed, that we will fight back, that workers in this economy have the right to have a union, and that we are not going to be intimidated. We are not to be scared by this billionaire trying to destroy that right. So those workers who are fighting to have the union today, and you see this example, don't hesitate. Keep fighting for the union. Keep standing for your rights. We are going to prevail, and it will be history who's going to judge those kind of individuals who believe that workers can be silenced. So brothers and sisters, we fight for the union, and we stand with you. Can we win? Yes, we can. ¿Se puede? Sí se puede. Sí se puede, y vamos a seguir luchando con ustedes.
All right. This is what happens when you let billionaires run your media. It's what happens when you let billionaires run the economy. We're not going to stand for it anymore. Thank you, brother. And I want to toss to a Democratic state senator, Michael Janaris.
Thank you. We are here today to say very clearly that the war against workers that's going on all over this country must end. This is going on everywhere, folks. Make no mistake. We are defending New York as best we can, but other places are in worse shape when it comes to organizing. It's got to stop, and if we have to draw the line here today, that's what we're going to do. It's bad when it goes on anywhere in the country, in any industry. But it is especially bad when what we're doing is denying over 10 million people their right to information and objective press. And that is what is happening here. You heard Don mention Katie Honan, who does great work. Jean Marie Everly is out here, who covers my part of Queens. Everybody knows that the subways in New York City are a mess. You know why we know that? Because Gothamist and Jay Goffenhurst and all their colleagues have been covering it like nobody else. So let's not pretend this is anything other than what it is. This is an ideological attack on people getting the information they want. This is an effort by people who prefer fake news to spread fake news because they're keeping real news away from the public. And to Joe Ricketts, I say congratulations to you. If you wanted to become the face of rich, greedy people in this country, you've now done it. And the greedy rich in this country better take notice because we are reaching our breaking point. People are going to organize, people are going to come to the streets, and if this keeps up any further, they're going to feel in a lot of ways other than just us standing in the park and complaining about it. So reverse what you've done, get yourselves together. We are standing here with people who deserve to work, who want to spread information to people in New York, and we are not going to stop until we've reached satisfaction. Thank you all for coming out today, and we will be with you every step of the way.
All right, and now I'm very proud to announce our next speaker, the president of SAG-AFTRA, Gabriella Carter.
Hello, everybody. Hello. It is incredible to be here with you today, standing together. This is a travesty, an absolute travesty. Journalists coming together, wanting to unionize, using their collective voice and being denied. So seeing you here today is very, very empowering. And I'm hoping, because you're going to hear from everybody, and I am going to make this short, we must put this out on social media. As I see your phones and you're taking pictures, use this to reach out. Your community has to stand together. We have to be heard. We are stronger together. We must speak out. DNA is union. Hashtag, don't forget, let everybody know. We must make sure that people's voices are heard. I am so proud to stand here with everybody from Gothamist and DNA and everybody who's standing. We will stand strong. We will make sure that this does not continue. Thank you very much.
Well, this was put together quick, but we got a lot of very impressive speakers here today. I want to toss now to another elected official. We've got Council Member Helen Rosenberg.
Can you hold this for 1 second? I just want you to know, I feel like, can you hold this up for me? Sorry. That I'm in the presence of some of the most important people on the planet, and I just want you to know that I've had my brush with greatness, who is Jackson Chen, standing right behind me. So I'm gonna get a selfie with him. All right. Those are the heroes. You know, the idea of any business closing because its workers chose to organize is an affront, and it's especially galling given how noble the work done by writers and editors at DNAinfo and Gothamist was. And I'm using the word noble very intentionally here. There are a lot of adjectives that don't apply to local news. It isn't glamorous. As a former community board chair, I know that evenings spent covering yet another squabble over a bike lane or a sidewalk cafe or a landmarks application isn't glamorous. It isn't secure, which of course
is never pleasant when you get a call from a reporter from DNAinfo or Gothamist. I'm just putting it out there. We're all praising the journalists, but we're all sitting there right going, oh, they just called. And what do they want? They just spoiled for everything we've ever done. I love the nervous laughter, right? None of it's like, yeah, it's happened to me. Where's Katie? We know. We all know. So we secretly can't stand this, but we also know that we need you because this town is about land use and zoning. It's about community-based planning. It's about how neighborhoods are built and how neighborhoods are torn down. And let's face it, the coverage of journalism on the ground is what actually saves communities, holds elected officials accountable, and says to the rich and powerful, we are going to foil you up and down, right and left, because that's how our democracy works. So I just want to say to all of you, yes, I know today is not a happy day for us. But through this experience, I fundamentally believe the new business model, the new paradigm, will be creating a coalition of journalism and unions to hold city government and to hold the powerful accountable. And that's why all of us are here today. Thank you very much.
All right, we do have union in the house. Next is my brother, the head of the New York City Central Labor Council video.
Great to be here. Listen, let me just be real clear, because today is about all of the workers at DNA and Gotham who've been affected by this. You've done phenomenal work in your craft and in your trade, and you should not be punished by the actions of one deplorable individual. And all of the other businesses in the city need to hear that. They need to recognize and understand that the voice of working people in this city, as our public advocate, as our controller, and as others have said, this is a union town. Right. And the voice of working people in New York City will never, ever, ever be silenced. Ever. We are a union town. We're over 1 million strong in this city. And there's two quick points. One, it's about solidarity. I look around out here, unions were already mentioned. There are unions beyond the Writers Guild out here that are supporting you today, and that will continue to support you in the future as you try to correct the wrong that has been perpetrated against you. And we will stand with you as long as it takes. This isn't just a one-day fight, because it was a one-day vicious action by Ricketts. And we are going to make sure that we do everything that we can continue to do to support the workers at DNA and Gotham. The second thing is this: being in a union, having a voice at work, and that's all a union election is about. It's about democracy in the workplace. It's about what our society should be about. It's about what this city has been about for the 300 unions which have represented workers throughout this city for years. And we are going to say over and over again, whether it be in New York City with this situation or any situation around this country, that workers' voice in the workplace will not be silenced. The will and the demands that workers will continue to express through collective bargaining and through a free and democratic election will always be respected. And we cannot let the actions, as I said earlier, of this company stand. Because there are millions, literally, millions of workers throughout this country today who would join a union tomorrow if they had the chance to join a union. And we cannot make sure, we have to make sure, and we cannot let them fear come from this, and we cannot leave them out there as they continue to fight for solidarity and for a voice at work. So when we leave here today, all of us, from all different unions throughout this city, we want every business to know, don't catch the Ricketts. The rickets is a bad disease. Don't catch it. It hurts working people. And we're here to lift people up in this city with our elected officials, with other unions, and we will stand with you as long as it takes in this fight. In this fight today, in this fight tomorrow, and in this fight in the future. So thank you all, and stay together, stay strong, and never give up.
So what?
All right, we at the Writers Guild of America cherish the solidarity we're experiencing from our brothers and sisters in organized labor and in New York's elected leadership. I want to divert slightly from the elected officials and bring up another member of the Writers Guild. I want to speak up into the mic, so it was brilliant what I just said. I just don't remember, no. Thank you for your solidarity, brothers and sisters. We appreciate the support from our allies in the labor movement and also our elected officials. We have a lot more speakers. I want to bring up another member of the Writers Guild of America who is organized in digital news, Brendan.
Yay, Brendan!
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Brendan O'Connor. I'm a reporter at Gizmodo Media, formerly known as Gawker Media. We have our own experiences. We have our own experience with vindictive oligarchs. We've been here. I want to shout out DC 37. I want to shout out PSC CUNY. I want to shout out 32BJ. I saw y'all. Fast Food Justice in the back. Democratic Socialists of America, what's up? National Writers Union. Transport Worker TWU, what's up? This is a movement moment that we are in. If you are not organized in your workplace, get organizing. If you are a writer, talk to the Writers Guild, talk to the News Guild, talk to National Writers Union. I'm with the Writers Guild. You should go with the Writers Guild. The point is, the workers have the power. Apart from the union, apart from our elected officials, it is the workers that decide what happens in this town, in this country, if we use our power. I want to say, first off, I want to say a couple things to Joe Ricketts. I want to say, first of all, fuck Joe Ricketts. That's for the New York Times reporter who's here. You can print that. I also want to say thank you to Joe Ricketts. And I want to say thank you to Peter Thiel. And I want to say thank you to that motherfucker at the Village Voice. I want to say thank you for clarifying in the minds of hundreds of journalists exactly what the conflict that we are in right now. This, what? Yeah, all right. What happened last week is a single event in a decades-long war on workers. It's an act of class warfare. And now you have dozens of journalists who have that in their mind, who are going to go out into the industry and keep organizing and spreading that message and asking each other, their coworkers, and their readers, most importantly, whose side are you on? Do you stand with the workers, or do you stand with the capitalists who want to crush us? That is the operating question. And I want to thank you for the Writers Guild for setting this up, and I want to thank you to all my comrades at DNAinfo and Gothamist for the incredible work that you've done over the past decade. As a reporter, as a journalist, I am incredibly grateful. You are an inspiration to us all, both in your work in writing and reporting and in your organizing. So thank you for being here today.
All right, we got the Writers Guild. So, I would like to introduce the President of the People's Republic of Manhattan.
Thank you very much. I might be the only one who feels this, but I love the press. When you can't get City Hall to do anything, you call DNA or you call Gothamist. And I want to say thank you over and over again for keeping us honest. And I also want to say, I want to thank Mr. Clark, I want to thank Gustavo Solis, Carolina Furtado, Emily Frost, Jackson Chen, Amy Zimmer, Mail, Rajuma Noah, Hurwitz, Allegra Hobbs, Gwen Hogan, and Danielle. There are many more. Those are the real names, Joe Ricketts. You are the person who doesn't fit into our diversity. You said you were going to cover local news. It's the journalists, the DNA, the Gotham list who understand what our city's all about. You do not understand our city, our country. This is an organization of amazing journalists who turn local news upside down in the most positive way.
Yeah.
Nobody else can take the place of the DNA Gotham list local news over and over again. You covered our parks, you covered the government, you covered the waterfront. I want to thank you because over and over again people complimented you. You are not going to go away. You have allies here and across the 5 boroughs who respect what you're doing. And whether it is in DNA or some other form, we need you. The national papers do not cover local issues. New York City is about villages and local issues. And DNA and Gotham List journalists were at every single local meeting. I can't tell you how impressive, as reporters, as people who cared about our neighborhood. Nobody else cares our neighborhoods like you do. Please come back. Let us know what we can do. Labor is great, and we were so proud of you when you organized. We met with you. We said, go for it. We're with you. So then we had a local news reporter, a great human being, and a great union. Damn it, we're going to make sure you continue. Thank you very much.
All right, next up is Councilmember Antonio Reynoso, the co-chair of the Progressive Caucus.
Thank you so much. First, I want to say it's a sad day that we're here, but I'm very happy to see all of the allies and everyone willing to come together to support this great cause. So I just want to thank everyone for being here. The next thing I want to say is Gwen Hogan represents my district. She writes for Williamsburg and Bushwick. She's right here. And if it wasn't for her, Grand Street People's Way, I see the Transportation Alternatives folks here, wouldn't be a story. A couple of days ago, someone told me, hey, where's Gwen? We got a story, we need a picture. Because no one else was writing about these things that happen locally in our districts. This is not only about the union busting aspect of it, it's about educating and informing our constituents on exactly what's going on in their neighborhoods every single day. The value of local journalism is through the roof. Before Gwen, we weren't hearing a lot about Bushwick and Williamsburg that wasn't glitter and gold. Gwen brought out the real Bushwick, and that's extremely important that people need to see that. And look, Gwen wrote some tough stories, very tough stories, but she wrote them. And that's what matters to me, that's what matters to the people in my district. And so long as she's without a job, we'll be fighting to make sure that everyone in the Writers Guild and everyone in DNAinfo and the Gothamist gets the representation that they deserve, right? Because they're allowed to be in a union. It is legal for them to do that, and that you don't bust them up. That's what we're here for. We have your back.
All right, next up is another member of our City Council, Jamani Williams.
All right, first of all, this is bullshit. That's exactly right, and that's what we're dealing with right now. We are unfortunately in the time of Trump and in time of Ricketts, and being clear about it, this is fully about union busting. America is going to look back and be ashamed of these few years, but we're going to be proud of the people in City Hall Park that stood up. Mr. Ricketts, this country has been full of people like you, full of people who want to make as much money as humanly possible on the backs of workers, on the backs of marginalized community. But I always thank God that this country has always been full of people like those who were here in this park, pushing back on people like Ricketts. And although sometimes it's long, I'm here to tell you
we have and we will always win. Because we have morality on our side. We have what America says it wants to be on our side. So we're going to continue to stand up, and we're going to continue to fight against Trump, fight against Mr. Ricketts. DNAinfo and Gothamist, I too want to say thank you. Even though when you were talking maybe against me, you always spelled my name correctly.
Jermaine. They call him Jermaine.
But without you, so many stories are not going to be told. There was somebody from one of the papers that made sure she said to all the people who are thinking about unionizing, don't be afraid because of them. And I want to thank her for her courage because it's important. For anybody who's listening, don't be afraid to unionize. Don't be afraid to organize. That is the only thing that has ever moved America forward. Joe Ricketts, with all your funny money, you will not win. Donald Trump and your orangeness, you will not win. We will win for the next generation. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. We will. We will. Not back down. Not back down. We will. We will. Keep writing. Keep writing. We will. We will. Show courage. Show courage. We will. We will. Win. Win. We will. We will. Win. Win. Because the workers united will never be defeated. 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 We stand strong. I'll see you at the victory line. Peace.
We got union in the house today. Next up is Linda Rosenthal, a member of the New York State Assembly.
Jermaine.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Okay, can you hear me? On November 5th, the first edition of the New York Weekly Journal was published by John Peter Zenger. He went to jail because they accused him of libel, but he got out, was never charged, and he established, with others, the principle of freedom of the press. What we have here today in Mr. Ricketts is the anti-John Peter Zenger. We have somebody who has been content to invest in DNAinfo when it did not make money, and the Gothamist and when it does. But the moment that the workers try to get a little power to secure their jobs and their work environment, he kicks them out. This is not about what demands the union made, because the union didn't make demands. The union just formed. This is about a billionaire who is a spiteful, vindictive billionaire. He doesn't know about the common people, and that's one thing DNAinfo and Gothamist knows. These reporters come to rallies where they're the only other person besides the convener. They are the reporters who dig deep, and we rely on them and depend on them. So, for all of you, get together, form something, we'll subscribe, and you'll be back in business because we need you, we respect you, and we love the work that you are doing. So you're not silenced. We'll work together. You'll be back. Thank you.
All right, we got one microphone. We got three speakers coming up.
There we go.
Steve Levin, Ben Callis, and Carlina Rivera from the
Speak truth to power! Yeah. Speak truth to power! Yeah. Speak truth to power! Speak truth to power! I want to thank every reporter here for your public service of speaking truth to power, because that's what it's about. It's about the truth, not alternative facts, but actually speaking the truth every day. You start your days early in the morning with us,
and you spend them all the way through community board meetings that never end and go on until the next day, covering issues that need to be covered. And you deserve to earn a living, and it's your right to organize to get that compensation that you deserve. Now, we've been here before, whether it's on the West Coast, or you can actually head over to Broadway to see an old show called Newsies, about the last one of these fights we had. But at the end of the story, not to ruin it or spoil it, we win. The workers always win. And I want to keep this short, which is hard for any elected official, but DNAinfo has been pivotal in my district on the Upper East Side. When I was running in a city council race, no one would cover against somebody who was sexually harassing his staff. DNAinfo were the ones who were uncovering that story. When billionaires wanted to put up a super scraper in my district, it was DNAinfo that was getting the word out and helping us organize thousands against billionaire buildings. And last but not least, while a certain person may go around the city saying that they delivered on some of their promises for pre-K, DNAinfo continues to cover the fact that the Upper East Side doesn't have the UPK seats we were promised.
And who might that
We
be?
need DNAinfo.
All right, everybody. My name is Steve Lev. I'm City Council member from Brooklyn. I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Gwen Hogan. I want to give a shout out to Amy Zimmer. I want to give a shout out to Emma Whitford. I want to say something. What you do in this city, you reporters that are out there early in the morning, you reporters that are out there late at night, covering all these issues, big, small, what you guys do is just as important, if not more important, than any of the work that anybody that works at this building does. Let's not forget that. You guys are the ones that get the word out there. You guys are the ones that make sure that the public knows what's going on in their communities. You are the ones that hold everybody else accountable. What you do is essential to democracy. It's as simple as that. And you know, if Joe Ricketts was so concerned about this business, why didn't he sell the business? Why did he want to close it down? I mean, come on. Why? This is absolutely disgraceful. This is absolutely disgusting. This is absolutely unacceptable in our society. So the message has to be loud and clear. This community of journalists, this community of people that want to get the truth out there, this will always prevail. So I want to thank you. Keep the fight going. You have us as allies. We support you 100%. Thank you.
Hello. Si se puede. So my name is Carlina Rivera, and I am the Democratic nominee for District 2, and I'm very humbled to be here because I actually studied journalism, and I thought that I was always going to be a newspaper woman. All right, I wanted to deliver truth, and I wanted to expose fraud and greed. And so I'm very, very, very humbled and honored to be standing with you here today because I will always, always, always have your back. So you're there for us every single time. Local celebrations, the tragedies, the street co-namings, remembering the local people that make a difference. And I can't thank you enough. So I'm here to be in solidarity with you because we know that Ricketts showed himself, he showed his true self as soon as you started organizing. That's when he got scared, okay? And for all the people that spoke so beautifully here today about trying to silence workers and try to silence workers' rights and to try to union bust, I promise you that I will be there for you just like everyone else who spoke here today. You are so important to us. You help us deliver for our constituents and for the city. So I want to thank you. I want to thank DNA and Gothamist, and I promise you I will be there for you. And again, si se puede. Si se puede.
All right. Don't forget to say no to the con tomorrow. All right, so I want to hear from Writers Guild members and staff right now. Are we going to mourn or are we going to organize?
Organize!
I want to hear from all the brothers and sisters from organized labor here today. Are we going to mourn or are we going to organize?
Organize!
I want to hear from everybody in the city of New York right now. Are we going to mourn or are we going to organize?
Organize!
All right, let's go out there. Make it real. We are going to take the fight to Joe Ricketts. Thank you for coming out today, brother.
Wow.